if I look tired, like, you know, dark circles under the eyes, I have not slept since like 11 o'clock yesterday. But this haul is so good that I'm going to deprive myself even longer. And don't worry, I'm okay. It's just so first, the histamines had my sleep schedule all wacky. Then the asthma medicine had it all wacky. Then they changed those, took me off and put them on something else. And that had me wacky. And then 2 days ago, they put me on steroids. And now I'm like amped. Like, punch through walls or throw babies or something. I don't actually want to throw babies, but I'm good. But I'm so excited that we are going to go through this haul right now. Like, I am so glad I didn't decide to not go, because when I went out and saw it was like about to rain, I couldn't tell for sure how bad. And then I started thinking, well, there might not even be that many cells, and then everything could be wet, and I could get stuck without a windshield wiper motor on my vehicle. And so I was thinking I wouldn't go, but then I just really wanted to get out and go yard selling, because I still, like, this is the first Saturday this year that there have been like more than 2 yard sales. So I really wanted to go, and thankfully I went, because the way I had to drive, it was like a reselling miracle. Like, because I was as I would turn on roads, it was like I would just barely avoid this little small pop-up storm, and you could even see like the rainbow part in the storm and then coming out on the other side. So it was like the angels were singing from heaven or something. It was good. It was good. And the first sale I got to, good Lord, like, I was one of the first people there. She was still putting stuff out. The people who had gotten there prior to me were like, you know, older ladies who were looking more for like glassware and antiques. So they weren't even competing for the things that I wanted. And like, I don't even know, y'all. Like, I think I got 3 or 4 like vintage glow worms. Like, what? And that's just part of it. I ended up going back to that one too, because it was so good, and she was still unpacking when I left, that I was like, and her prices were so low that since I was kind of going back that direction anyways, I just stopped again. I spent another $13. Man, I don't know. Okay, so we're just gonna get started. I got a lot of stuff. I have no idea what the value of any of it is right now. So I'll be putting comps on the screen just so you can see. And it's like, we'll kind of, no, we won't be learning together. You'll be learning, it'll be like a parallel universe. You'll be learning after I've learned, but in this moment I haven't learned quantum mechanics. So first, the second time I went back to that really good one, I did pick up these 2 Furbies, and I noticed them in there in a box that she was like scared for me to get into, because she was afraid there would be like spiders or creatures. I think she called them either creatures or critters or something, I don't know. And it was like a junky box. Like, I probably could have gotten bit by a snake. But I saw these, and they're in pretty good condition. They do need some cleaning up a little bit. No, ma'am. It's okay. It's just a cord. Look. It's just a cord. Go lay down. No, we're not gonna. My dog and I argue, is what it is. When she wants something, she's gonna keep letting me know that she wants it. And I basically have to, like, keep letting her know that she's not going to get it until she just ends up laying down and giving up. She's side-eyeing me right now. American Bull Terriers have the absolute most personality of any dog I've ever had. Like, I swear they are like 5-year-old children or something. Because she understands way more English too than most dogs I've had. She's still side-eyeing me. They do need to be cleaned up a little bit. And they do have their bottoms. They're somewhere in here. So they should still probably work, but these should go pretty decently. I can't remember what this specific one goes for, but I would say at least $20 a piece. And they were gonna throw them away, so she gave them both to me for $1 because they had been planning on throwing them away. So 2 Furbies for $1. This is gonna be all jumbled up, so I should be able to break down the basic price of everything, but I apologize if it's not completely entirely in order, because it's just, there's no way. I went down the road because they were just, so I should back up. This was a community yard sale, which made me iffy on going too, because in where I live, there's like 6 neighborhoods total. And then random country houses. And so there's not a lot of like standard community yard sales, but I wanted to see, because this one was farther out and I wasn't aware of any neighborhoods in that area. And when that happens, when they call it a community yard sale and it's farther out and they don't have like actual neighborhoods, they're talking about a town, basically. It's like a town yard sale. And when you get into a town yard sale, like any of those side roads, anywhere could have yard sales. And a lot of them don't even put up signs because people are more local. They're coming more locally. So they just expect people to drive around, or they just figure they'll pass them on the way through. So you find a lot more sales that are untouched or haven't had as many resellers picking them. So I went down the road and there was like a grill and go place, which I'm gonna go back because they have like fried pickles and fried okra. I had no idea they existed down there. And there was a sweet old woman who had a box of vintage hats, and when I started pulling them out, I started getting very excited because some of these are so awesome. And I get up to her and I'm like, how much would you like for the hats? And she's like, oh, the hats are 10 cents a piece. So and then I had a mug that I'll show y'all too, and she was like, the mug is like 20 cents or something, or 30 cents. So she was gonna tell me 90 cents like altogether. And I was like, no, I'll give you more than that. And she's like, well, just give me $1. And I'm like, I can't do that. Here's the thing though, in this neck of the woods, West Tennessee is, when it comes to like, okay, so Memphis, there's a lot of poverty and crime and stuff, but like the western section sort of between, no ma'am, we went over this, no ma'am, and they don't want to hear you bark because your bark echoes. Lay down, be patient, you can be patient, yes you can. So anyways, in this neck of the woods, this area of Western Tennessee, it is one of the Liberty Dixie. No, ma'am. Lay down. Lay down. Thank you. It is one of the more impoverished areas, really, of the country. Like, it's kind of like, so there's some sections in Arkansas that are rough. There's some sections in Mississippi. Then you got West Tennessee. And then there's this sort of gap of like Middle Tennessee that has a good bit of wealth, and even like sort of Western and Middle Kentucky. And then East Tennessee, you know, it's hit or miss. And then Kentucky, and then parts of like, you know, Virginia and whatnot, super poor. West Tennessee is pretty like, driving some of these back roads, there are people who are like living in shacks, like literally, that's just kind of the culture, and there's no codes against it or anything because people simply can't afford it, you know. So there's a lot of poverty there. It's rough. So what I'm getting to is that people also have this strong sense of pride though in this area, and they don't want to feel like, if I had said, no, let me give you like $5, and I could already tell in the tone of her voice when I told her I would give her more money than the 90 cents, that people see it as like you're being charitable, and charity to them is kind of like, it messes with their pride. Like, they don't want to feel like you're giving them something that they don't deserve or they haven't earned. But, you know, I wanted to be like, I'm going to be selling these for like $15, $20 at least. Like, let me give you money. But I know from having sort of grown up on this side of Tennessee that there are some people who take a lot of advantage, and then there are people like her who don't want to feel like you're giving them something, you know, because it makes them feel like beneath you or something. So I was like, here, let me just give you this $2. Just keep the $2. And I figured that was like a middle ground, you know, like I'm giving her, and she was like, oh, you know, bless your heart. Like, I just done some heroic thing. Anyways, let's get into these hats. I think I'm going to save the best ones for last. I mean, they're pretty good though. I mean, there's only one that's questionable. So this is the most questionable. And this is Stone Mountain Park. It is what it is. Nothing crazy. I'll probably sell it for like $10. But then I got a Gulf oil company. And oil companies used to be more like, they were more like localized. And so like Gulf, Shell, all that, you know, like they had like, I don't know how to explain it. But this is vintage. The foam is still good. It's got a little bit of grunge on it, but grunge with the oil cap is good. But having even just the Gulf logo is a plus. Then we got Taco John's. Vintage Taco John's. And now this one, the foam is breaking up in this one. More than likely, I'll just pull that foam out before it starts to get powdery. And just sell it for less. But people love tacos. And this is like old school Taco John's. So, super cool. Then we got Chicago, which I'm pretty sure that's the band logo. So I am pretty sure this is a vintage band hat, which may not have a lot of value, but still awesome. This is my second most favorite, Liberty Land. They took it from us and turned it into a mall. Supposedly they're turning it back into a theme park because nobody goes to malls anymore. But it's in really good condition. I'm not so sure this was even worn, and it's like parachute nylon material. Super cool, like complementary color scheme, like late 80s, early 90s, so that should do pretty well. This is my favorite. And if you're not from around here, you don't know what this is, but Po Folks was a restaurant back in the day, like way back in the 80s, 90s, where you could go in and it was supposed to be centered around like poor people Southern food. So you would you get served like your tea in a mason jar, and the lights above you were made out of like terracotta pots and stuff like that, like everything. And then like the silverware was all mismatched. I haven't seen anything Po Folks in a minute, and it's gonna be hard for me to sell this one. The foam is starting to deteriorate inside, which is kind of like something I'm like, maybe I shouldn't sell it, you know, maybe. Because this one isn't where the foam's on the outside, the foam is inside. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. I'll look up the value if it's got crazy value. But see, this is also just super local. So I don't know that people will even know about it outside of this area. So if it's not very valuable, this is mine. And I'm going to cut the foam out as is. All right. So then I'm skipping around again. No, I'm going to save that one. Where are we going to go next? Let's do the shoes. We'll get the shoes out of the way so that I can clear out a spot. After all the community yard sale, I'm like, I'm going to go head to this other yard sale that's like 5 minutes from my house. And on the way, and early this morning, I'd noticed that they were pulling out some pop-up tents at the high school near me. No, ma'am. No. We've gone over this. This is the third time now. It's the third time. You need to lay down and be patient. No, ma'am. Go lay down. There's not room for you right now, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to move you a chair down here, but I can't do that right this minute. Go lay down. Be patient. I noticed early this morning they were putting pop-up tents up, and I was like, oh, maybe they're having some sort of event. They're having a yard sale at the high school near my house. So I had to stop there too. And it was getting super windy, and you could tell people were like, it was like almost 11 o'clock at this point. You could tell people were kind of getting over it. And I walked up to one, and I was looking through this big tub of shoes, and the guy comes up and he's like, those should all be size 13 men's shoes. And I was like, well, how much did you want on them? And he's like, do you know someone who can wear a size 13? And I just looked him like dead in the eyes. I was like, no, I'm a reseller. Because I could tell, just from initially walking up on some sales, you can kind of tell if somebody is some type of reseller because they have a weird variety of things. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it was one of those times. And he's like, oh, well, I'll give you the whole tub for $5. I'm like, the whole tub? And he's like, yeah. Now, none of these are in excellent condition, and I still have to authenticate some of them, and I'm gonna have to clean some of them up, but I only need one pair to be like $15 or $20 to make money, you know. I will do a quick lookup, see what's worth my time. Anything that's not worth my time, I'm just going to redonate to Goodwill. I mean, people need size 13s. They're hard to find. So, out of that $5, I got this pair of Air Force Ones, which this is legit. Like, I already know this is legit. Size 13. Now, obviously, they got age, like discoloration. They're not dry rotted, so that's good as far as I can tell. So I'll clean them up, you know, whatever. I don't know what they go for right now, but $10, I've already made money. This is going to get very complicated very quickly. Then we had these Jordans, which these are legit. They are vintage, I would say probably late 90s, early 2000s, I think. So I'm going to clean those up. I'm going to see what I can sell them for. Not in great condition, but again, some people like the distressed look. Some people just want a pair of Jordans, you know, so even if I sell them for $10, now we're at $20. Oh. Sorry. So I didn't plan well for this because my phone was almost dead too. So now I couldn't find my charging block. So now I have the phone plugged into the laptop, plugged into the wall, and that's why my dog's pissed because she can't get over here because of the cord and all of the stuff I have. And then my 10-foot cord is actually getting in the way. My charging cord. Let me keep going. Keep going. This could turn into a long video. Now, these are pretty cool. I like these. Definitely have wear, definitely need to be cleaned up and even conditioned. I ain't gonna do the conditioning. Look to be legit. They need insoles, I believe. One of them has it, the other doesn't. But you can just disclose that. Most of these older shoes, people change the insoles anyways. But these are like pro model in New York City Adidas, like vintage, high top. Again, I make $10, now we're at $30. And then we got some vintage Pumas. Suede, size 13. You know, again, not super great condition, but we can just call that $40. There's a couple questionable ones. Although, if I can get these cleaned up, they're not dry rotted. These Samoas do pretty well. And they're size 13 also. Say $50. And then we got, I can never, Vlado Footwell. Oh my god, I can never do it. Vlado, I cannot say it. Vlado Footwear. It's the one with the little, like, almost like a Tommy Hilfiger logo. I can't remember. These were probably like $19.99 or like 2003. Don't know if they're worth anything. I'll clean them up. Supposedly get $60. And then we got this sort of like burgundy maroon Air Force Ones. Made in Vietnam. These are actually size 12, which that's even better. I think I could probably do better than $10 on these, but we'll check them out. We'll just say $70. And obviously, it's probably going to be more than that. I don't know the shoes. And there is one more pair of shoes. I'm hoping these are legit, because I think it would be good if they are. I don't know. They look pretty. Yeah, they're on point. Yep. I like these. They're green. Green, green, green. You know, it'd be cool if these actually ended up all being 12s. No, this is a 13. So these are some more Air Force Ones. Green high tops. Use some cleaning and some conditioning, but I'm gonna check them out. Those are pretty cool. So I don't know the value on any of those. I tend to not deal with a lot of Nikes because people are so particular. But when you tell me $5 for all those, like, I'm just, if I'm concerned about condition or I'm concerned about something, I'm just gonna list them really low and get money very quickly. Because I would reckon I can make at least $100 on these shoes right here for $5. You know, that's awesome. At the same, I'll go ahead and finish that yard sale at the school. I got 2 of the 4K Fantastic Beasts and Alien Covenant. I have no idea what any of these are worth, but she had a lot of really good condition Blu-rays. So I got some of the weirder titles. Because even if I sell them for like $3 or $4, I'm gonna make my money back. But some of these go for like $9, $10, $15, sometimes crazy money. Kubo, haven't heard of it. Warcraft, and Goosebumps, which is one of my favorites and why I bought it. So I should be able to make money on that. You know, worst case scenario, I just lot them up and sell them for $20. Also at the schoolyard sale, I found a Kohl's Cares. There's a Walk It in My Pocket. Very near and dear to my heart. I actually read this to my daughter when it was this one and Places You Will Go, where I had both of the board books, and from the moment I brought her home, I would read those back and forth. By the time she was 4 months old, she was actually like trying to flip the pages. It was really cool. But some of the more random characters, the Kohl's Care Dr. Seuss's, do pretty well. This one was $2. I figure I can probably get at least 10 for it, but it may be one of the like more like $20-$25 ones. I did pay up for this one. I don't know why, other than it is vintage. Winnie the Pooh, it does still have its tag. It is Eeyore, and it is also made out of the parachute material. So it was one of those I just didn't want to pass up. I might not make very much money off of this, but I feel like I should be able to get at least 20 for it, so I'm fine with it. It's just really good condition, you know, being that new. And then, did I get anything else there? I don't think I did. No. That was all at the... It got so windy, I just started leaving that one. So right prior to that, I found, it was as I was coming back into town, there was like a random yard sale on the side of the road. And I noticed they were sort of packing up and they had a whole bunch of stuff. So I was like, that's a pretty good sign because they're going to be trying to make deals. So I stopped in that one and I have no idea if any of this is worth anything. These are the like 90s versions of these, like they're like book club. They were like book club book bags that you would get if you had like a book club membership type thing. But they have the Winnie the Pooh one, the Dr. Seuss one, and a super cool like Nick Jr. one. Like, it's very iconic. And I've never actually seen the Nick Jr. one. I don't know what these are going for right now, but they haven't been used, and I figured I could probably get them pretty cheap, so I went ahead and picked them up. At that same yard sale, I got this vintage Mickey for Kids thermal. Mickey Mouse playing soccer. It's in nice condition. The print's really good. I should be able to get like 10 bucks for that one. I got this cute little 90s basketball onesie. Probably $10-$12 for that. I got a vintage Jasmine from Aladdin pillowcase. Probably $10 to $12 for that one. And what else did I get there? I actually got quite a bit of stuff there. Not more stuff than I realized. I got Baby's First Tigger Rattle by Disney Baby. A lot of the Baby's First plushes do well. This is Baby's First Birthday with Winnie the Pooh. It's got like the wrist rattle and the hand rattle. I have no idea what this is. Like, I remember it vaguely, but I couldn't tell you at all what it is. But it is a vintage toy. I know I haven't seen it in a long time, and I knew they probably wouldn't really charge me much for it, so I went ahead and grabbed that one. I got this Namco rubber face Santa miniature doll, and I feel like there's like one more thing somewhere that I got there. Well, one more small thing. I did also get this at that same yard sale, which I think the Try Me battery is dead because it is from 2007, but it's new in package. 2007 we're coming like right up on vintage, you know, like that is what's about to start coming back in, is like that sort of 2000, basically recession era, like 2005 to 2012 or so. So I picked this one up, and I got all those that I just showed you for $7, which was last $7 I had until I stopped by the ATM again when I saw the schoolyard sale. The very last one that I went to nearest my house that I had planned on going to when I got sidetracked by the school one. No, ma'am. I know you want to come up here, but you can't. There's not room. No, ma'am. No. No. Don't angrily push and shove things. No, ma'am. The very last one I went to, she was doing a $5 fill-a bag, and there really wasn't much there that I wanted, but this is one of the Disney Park jersey shirts. Spirit jersey is what they're called. And Spirit jerseys do really well. So this one, I think it has a little bit of discoloration. I'll have to check it out. But the Spirit jerseys do nicely. If for some reason I decide I don't like the condition or it's not very valuable, I might keep this one for myself because I kind of like the bold print. But yeah, I would say I could probably get at least $20 for that. And then I found 2 pair of, they're not the Trip brand, but this is Aphrodite. Sort of that grunge, goth, emo, which emo scene and all, scene girl, emo, all that's about to hardcore come back to. So a pair of those, and then one that's just Hot Topic brand. It's got the chain and the pockets and all that. I would imagine I can get probably $20 to $30 a piece on that, so it's probably about $80 for $5. Now we're gonna go to where did I get? I can't remember. Oh yeah, this was the second yard sale I went to, and everything was sort of priced weirdly, so I couldn't tell if it was the actual price. But like this guy, I think he's from like 1994. Yeah, 1994. And I recognize him, but I can't remember what he's from. He's got like skulls all over him. But he had a $5 sticker on him, which I'm gonna have to goof off that or something. I was like, I'll take a risk, see what he's worth for $5. When I got up there, she ended up like, I had all these little toys in this bag, and she just gave them all to me for $1. So there's 5 toys in here, so essentially I got them for 20 cents. Not sure who he is yet, but we are gonna look him up. He looks pretty cool. I did get one of these little blocks. I always pick these up when I find them, because usually you can get $5 a piece for those. I found 2, I believe these are like Y2K. Can't see a date on there right now. I don't think they even have a date, but I'm pretty sure these are like Y2K, maybe like 2007 or so, Polly Pocket dolls. So I'll probably put those together. And then this one, I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or sell it yet, but it's Skeeter from Doug keychain. Doug is one of my all-time favorite cartoons. I loved Doug's personality. Like, if I could have married a cartoon character, it would have been Doug. And then I just decided to date a bunch of horrible people instead. This is an XFL. I was like sitting there like trying to remember what, is it extreme football? I don't know what XFL is. She didn't know what XFL is, but it is new with tag. It is vintage. It's got a super cool graphic. So we're gonna look it up. Don't know what it's worth. I would imagine $15, $20. She charged me $1. And then I got each pair of these for $1, and I'm pretty sure these are either 70s or 80s. Probably late 70s, early 80s, maybe mid 80s. They're Wrangler. And the older the better. And if they're old and distressed, they usually sell faster. They sell for about the same or maybe a little more if they're newer, not newer, but like old and in better condition. But they seem, from my experience, they sell faster. So 3 pair of those. Some of them are like nicely distressed, like somebody was doing some real farm work. This is actually, I think, a button. No, it's not a button fly. This one definitely is older. I'll have to do measurements because that size is even worn off. And then this one is a 38-36. I think they're all like around 38s or 36s. But those should, I mean, I would say I could probably get $30 a piece for those. So yeah, it ended up all being $5 again. So I'm going to guess somewhere around $100 off of that $5. Like, the profit margins today are just absolutely gobsmacking. Like, it's insane. It's insane. The, like, third to last of the community yard sale, I got these pair of camo Vans for $2, and they're either a men's 9 or a women's 10.5, and they're in really good condition, like almost not even worn. So pick those up. I found a Sony Dream Machine, which they do pretty good. I'm not sure where they're at currently, but typically they do pretty well. I'm gonna have to test it and make sure it's still working. I got this little Chick-fil-A cow in the pajamas, and a lot of times these more random Chick-fil-A cows do well. So I'll probably check that out. 2011. Then I got, which these may be absolutely worthless, I don't know. But I don't have any way of looking stuff up out there. And Chuck E. Cheese tends to do well. So they were $1 a piece. I think she actually ended up only charging me 50 cents a piece. I don't see a year on them. But anyways, they're all Chuck E. Cheese Pez dispensers. So if they're not super valuable, I'll just throw them in a lot, and somebody might want to have a birthday party and add them. And then I got both of these. These are Wendy's Kids Meals, and they are Toys R Us toys. And since Toys R Us is technically out of business now, some of their merchandise has become more valuable. So worst case scenario, I'll put those in a lot together and get my money back. But I wanted to learn, you know, because I'm trying, you can find Kids Meals toys everywhere. And I want to get really good at learning which ones are worth, like, you know, between $5 and $20, like that range, because they're almost never worth more than that. Usually more like $5 to $12, because when you can find them everywhere and they're always like super cheap, because most of these are more expensive than usual, but a lot of times you can get like a whole box of them for like $3 because people are just trying to get rid of them. So I want to get good at knowing which ones do well. So if I can pick them up cheap enough, I do it so I can learn. All right. Shortly before that one, this was the mug that I got with the hats that she was going to charge me 30 cents for. It is Louisville stoneware, which usually does well. It is a little more regional, but it's General Electric, and most Louisville stoneware is actually somewhat regional because it's mostly Tennessee. You find it like Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe Ohio, maybe, you know, West Virginia, but like for the most part, it's very regional. But General Electric too, a lot of people like their advertising pieces, and it is vintage. It's 1986, so I figure it kind of hits 3 of those things at one time. And again, she was charging me almost nothing. Right after that, I stopped at a little like sort of trailer park, and they were having yard sales. And she had this Rick and Morty plush, new at tags for $1. Don't know if it's worth anything, but Rick and Morty's pretty collectible, and it is new at tags. And then these Dorbs. These didn't take off. These were like, they tried to make cute Funko Pops, and they just didn't take off. So typically, I don't buy any Dorbs. But, they are Adventure Time, and Adventure Time almost always does well. They just didn't make enough Adventure Time for their fans. And also my daughter is one of those fans. So I'm going to look, they were $1 a piece. I'm going to look them up. And if they end up only being worth like $5 a piece, I'll just give them to her, and she'll either keep them or give them to one of her friends that is an Adventure Time fan, but she won't be torn up about getting these. So I'm going to check them out and see what they're worth. But for $1, it's definitely worth the risk, especially when I can just pawn them off on my child. Now, we're about to get into the bestest part. So I'll show you what I got at the second trip of that really good yard sale first. If I can locate all of it. I didn't get as much at the second one, but I did still get some good stuff. Okay, I think these, there's one of the Furby bottoms. Okay, I think that's everything for the second go around. So the second time I went, I spent $13, and I got this Napco made in Japan. It's got some numbers and stuff. I think it's 1956. But she's in pretty nice condition, and she's got her flower. I mean, the rubber, like around the middle of the flower and stuff, is worn from time. But she doesn't have, like, she's got rubbing on the bottom, which is pretty standard, just because of age. And some crazing. But all of her petals are there. All of her hat petals are there. All of her fingers. And she's just super cute. She's like almost like a pixie. So I don't know her value. But essentially I got her for $1. Yes, exactly. I got her for $1, so why not? Then I also found this like epoxy hot plate with the mother of pearl shells. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's mother of pearl. No, I knew that was wrong. Abalone. Abalone? Abalone. Abalone. 19... I'm reading upside down. 1969. So that's pretty old. So I think I can get something like that. Then I think this is Murano. I'm pretty sure based on the quality. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's got the smooth bottom. It's like an encased glass. Nice, heavy weight. She gave it to me for $1. So, again, don't know what it's worth, but, I mean, seriously, come on now. It's not even chipped. There's no flaws on it. Ugh. Then, she was on the fence, I think, about letting me buy this one, because there was a dollhouse with it, but I did not want the dollhouse. And I couldn't figure out at first what these parts went to. And then I figured out it's the Trading Spaces dollhouse. Now, I've never personally found a Trading Spaces dollhouse. So a lot of times when I find something I've never found, and it's also in a category that tends to sell, like dollhouse furniture, I pick it up because it has to be more rare. And this was 2003, so it is vintage. And many of these are still packaged, but it's an entire box of like dollhouse furniture parts for the Trading Spaces dollhouse. And for all I know, there could be other things in the bottom of this box. I wouldn't doubt it. But she did end up, I was like, do you really need those to go together? And she was like, no. Because actually, when I went back the second time, I walked up and I was like, yeah, I've been trying to send people your way. Because I could recognize the pickers at the other sales. And I'd already been to this sale, so I didn't mind telling them that this sale existed. I couldn't buy everything there. So, as I would see the pickers, I would tell them, hey, by the way, there's this random one off, this road that doesn't really have a sign. You don't know it's there unless you got online. But they got a lot of good, like, vintage stuff. And so I told the lady when I came back, I was like, I'm back. And I was like, and I've been trying to send you some business. And within, like, the first probably 4 or 5 minutes of me looking around again, like 6 or 7 cars, like, pulled up. So I think that is partly why she was giving me good deals too, because literally I said that, and then it was like, they all showed up. Like, if you build it, they will come. And so I think she gave me better deals, because she gave me that whole box for $3. Don't know if this Barbie is valuable, but some of these, like, cheaper ones that were attached to some type of movie, like they're little horrible movies that my daughter would try to make me watch repeatedly, and I would hide them and then tell her we lost it, because that's the kind of mother I am. Some of them actually do better than others because they didn't make a lot of them, and then the movie catches on and it forces them to become more collectible because you can't find them. So a lot of the, like, fairy ones and the Fairytopia and the Mermaidia, or I don't know, they're more valuable. This is the Iron Princessa. No, I'm combining the English and the Spanish. The Island Princess, or the Princesa de la Isla. Did not do that well. Princess Rosella. I need to clean up the plastic a little bit, but she gave it to me for $2. I would imagine I can get 10. I don't know. I have some of those surprise me. Some of them end up being worth like $80. The weird, like, movie related ones. Then the last thing I got for that $13 the second time was this 1967 Build a Road Matchbox for Matchbox models. Now, this older, the 60s for both Hot Wheels and Matchbox is like prime, like that's where you get your red line Hot Wheels and your Lesney. Hold on, it's quiet on here. Yes, Lesney Matchboxes. There is damage to the package, but most of the parts are like in really good condition and they're already sorted. I think it may be missing a handful. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up. I'm going to see what it's worth. The box has a lot of damage and it's kind of gross on the outside. So if the box doesn't just, even in bad condition, raise the value $20 or $30, I'm going to ditch the box and we're going to sell the parts. But if it's that, because some of these boxes do add a lot of value, so even if it adds like $20 or $30 in rough condition, then I'll go ahead and deal with the box, but I'd rather not, because then I have to package this. And I don't want to do it. I mean, it really wouldn't be that hard, but I always have to go and find or make a box. I try to limit that. You know, I don't really want to be making boxes more than maybe like 10 times a week. So we'll look into that. I saved the best for last. Oh my God. This is probably the most excited y'all have ever seen me. Come to think of it. It may be partly a lack of sleep and partly dehydration because it was like 84 degrees, but it wasn't like a humid 84. It was like a sort of humid, but also like the wind, it was just drying everything out. So and I was out there for like 6 hours on no sleep. Best for last. I got some of this stuff I don't even know what it is. It just looked really interesting. This is a moon spice jar, and it's like pottery. It just looks really interesting. Oh God, is it? Ew, there's goo in there. I don't know. That might get thrown away unless that's just really worth my time. I didn't know there was goo. It's like a balm. I'm not saying it's gross goo, like as in like dirt or something. It's like a balm. I might throw that away. St. Joseph aspirin, a little tiny tin. These can be pretty collectible. I don't know where this is at right now, but I'll look it up. And if it's not super valuable, it will go in my knick-knack box that I'm saving, where I save tons of tiny little knickknacks because I know the value will go up. And if you get 1,000 knickknacks in your tub and then they all at some point are worth $20, you have a really nice little savings. This is a etched stone. Well, actually, I think that's hand painted. Initially, I thought it was etched. It's like a sort of Asian hand painted. I think that's a quartz, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's sandstone. I think that's quartz. Little egg. No idea what it's worth, but she only charged me $1, so got it. Then we had, oh yeah, I did get this. This one has a stand somewhere, but this is a really nice, I can't remember the name of this stone, but this is a really nice heavy duty like stone egg. I would imagine I can probably get like 15 for that egg. Then I got a huge box of old plastic toys, and I think some of these are definitely Mark's era. You got like cowboys singing, you got all the Native Americans, farm animals, soldiers, just a ton of like plastic figures. And she gave me this whole box for $3. So I don't know what, like sometimes some of these can be really rare. Most of the time they're not super valuable, but in a lot this size, like I can still make good money on them. And somewhere in here are more of these. I found these made in Japan metal soldiers. I'm pretty sure they're Civil War era, not from Civil War, probably from the 1950s, but like themed. I think I ended up getting like 10 of them, but they're mixed in somewhere in here. But hopefully y'all can kind of see this box is crammed with like vintage plastic toys. So that was $3. Second to most favorite thing is instant Dr. Seuss collection. What? And some of these are older. So I'm gonna have to go through and like some of them are newer, some of them are older. Some of them aren't actually Dr. Seuss. They're like the newer ones that sort of just took on his logo. But we got Monster Munchies. Maybe you should fly a jet. Maybe you should be a vet. Ugh. And we got the Berenstein's Bee book. Because a little bug went ka-choo. I like this one, the hair book. I didn't realize I got Snow White. This probably won't. I'll probably have to loft that with something else. Berenstain Bears, the ear book, Pizza Pat. Let me see what year this Dr. Seuss is. Probably the 80s. Well, it says 1963, but I don't think. Well, maybe. Because the book stamp is from 1957. It's got some scribblies in it, but this one is an actual Dr. Seuss book. Old Hat, New Hat. I do like this one. This isn't technically Dr. Seuss, but it's I Want to Be Someone New. This one I haven't seen in a while, so that will be interesting to see where that's at right now. I like this one too. And then this is a Berenstain Bears. I like this one. Are You My Mother's? It's decent. Kind of lame. Hand, hand, finger, thumb. Finger. Hand, hand, fingers, thumb. This one does look older. 1969. So I was excited about those. Because really, if I put all these together, even in whatever condition they're in and the various ages, I could probably get $50 or $60. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell these yet because I have already established a small collection of vintage actual Dr. Seuss books. So I'll go through if they're very valuable because some of them have peaked at the moment. If they're very valuable, I might sell a couple of them if I'm not attached to them, but this may just be adding to my collection. I haven't decided on the fence. Best thing of the day. Like, I was wigging out, and I don't even know the value of this box right here. I do need to pull a couple things out. I forgot to shove some things in here. This is a glass paperweight whale, and I got it for the style and the color. It's kind of like an aquamarine color, and it was only $1. Don't know the value on it. I think I got a couple other things in here. Oh god. I got these two vintage tins. I don't think they're especially old, probably like the 80s. They still smell like tobacco. So I think these were like tobacco tins, if I'm not mistaken. But I think I could probably get like $10 for those or something. Then I found a big box of vintage plush, and I was like, how much do you want for your plush? Thinking she's going to be like $5 a piece, and I was going to have to figure out what I wanted to invest in and what I didn't. Where it might just take all of my budget for the day. No, ma'am, you can't have any of these. No. She's going to be whining like the whole time I do these plush, and I don't have anything to give her to distract her. I don't think I got any crappy plushes. Actually, that's one of the crappy ones. Here you go. It's the only one you get. Can't keep whining, okay? I'm gonna fly him to you. Go get it. That was such a girl throw. And then she's like, $1 a piece. And I was like, oh my god. And I just started trying to fill my arms while filming. and get them to my pile, because I knew if a reseller showed up, I was like there by myself at that point, but if a reseller showed up, it was going to be like hot competition for those. So I just stopped everything I was doing and started getting plushes. But we have an Alf, and it says, Earth is a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. Same. I don't know. My daughter collects Alf. I don't know if she's going to want this one or not. I don't know the value on him, but it's Alf, and he has one of his fun alien t-shirts on. So we got him. This is the goat from Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it's got jinglies in his things. The tag is kind of decrepit. You can see the Walt Disney. I can't, 1996 or something. But Quasimodo, Esmeralda, and I can't remember the goat's name. I'm sorry, goat. All do pretty well, like no matter what you find of them, because it was kind of like almost an obscure Disney movie, and they didn't make a lot of merchandise for it, but people love that movie. So this one should do all right. I don't know the value, probably not crazy valuable. Then I started finding Fraggles, and these are the vintage ones. Some of them are newer, but these are the Hasbro Softies. I think they're from the 90s. No, 1985, even better. Fraggles. Fraggles. It gets better. Wait. It gets better. Got another Fraggle. I'm pretty sure 1985. Another Fraggle. And some of these have like little, I need to do like spot cleaning, but overall their coloring and everything is in good condition. Now they do have a little bit of a vintagey, like been stored in the attic smell, but most people aren't gonna care. There were some newer Fraggles. This reminds me of dude on Dumb and Dumber, but I believe these were early, 2004. But these have their tags, so that should be all right. I think I got one more of those somewhere. Did I get the other Fraggle? I love this one too. And this is like early 2000s. Booper. Yeah, a bunch of Fraggles. Then we got a parachute glowworm. No, ma'am. 1997. We got this terry cloth glowworm. No, ma'am. I told you that's the only one you can have right now. 1995. We got the original 1982 glowworm. Are you kidding me? And then the butterfly glowworm, which he does have some serious issues, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the stain out or not. It almost looks like oil or something. I don't know. So I don't know what we're gonna be able to do with him. Glow bug. It's not a glow butterfly. 1984. So, you know, that just may be priced down. Then, like, I'm pretty sure this is from the, yes, the Wuzzles. Yes. Oh my God. Seriously. Y'all, it's killing me. It's killing I got one Wuzzle. Like a big Wuzzle. And then I got another Wuzzle. And it's like the moose. I always called him a moose seahorse. I don't know what he's actually supposed to be. But they're the 1984 Wuzzles. Seriously. I got, I think this is Chip. I don't think this is Dale, but this is a vintage one. No, ma'am. 1989 Play School. So this is the older one. I can't remember, but he's like the safari one. Then this super cool vintage. Let's see if it's dated. A vintage Grateful Dead bear backpack, probably from the mid to late 90s. Nice condition. Let's see if there's something in them. Maybe there's like some cool vintage toys in here. Absolutely not. That looks like a crack rock or something. I don't know what that is. Maybe I should go searching through the Grateful Dead backpack on YouTube. Anyways, awesome. So awesome. And then right as I was getting done, she's like, oh, there's another one. And she tossed it in the box. And I turned around. And are you serious? I'm not sure what year this is, but it is in very good condition, regardless. And I was like, you have to be kidding me right now. Like, this is like probably one of my all-time favorite moments as a picker. It's the 1985. It's the 1985 Popples. $1 a piece. What the F? I'm trying not to say the F word on YouTube. I say it a lot. I'm trying not to because people get very upset about that. It might slip out at some point. But, like, seriously though, like, what? I still can't take it in. I can't take it all in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I'm just gonna say, I would say it's a strong average of $20 a piece. So that is very easily a $300 box for 15 bucks. I don't think it really gets any better than that. Literally, 3 pair of Air Force Ones. Hardcore vintage 80s and 90s plushes. Like, not the lame ones, but some of the best. We got Dollhouse Parts, Mark's Air Toys, random Barbies, vintage Wranglers, a Dr. Seuss collection, encased Murano glass, all kinds of weird little extra knickknacks that some of them could be even more valuable than this. We got vintage hats, we got vintage kids clothes, we got goth emo pants, Furbies, like a Dream Machine, Vans. Is there something we did not hit today? I can't, it's like we just like got all the categories except maybe car parts. It's insane. And I spent exactly $90. There's probably, quite possibly, one plush, or maybe one pair of shoes, or one plush. There's probably one item somewhere in here that is going to pay for everything that I bought today. Anyways, I'm gonna get up and take care of my dog. I'm sure you are very tired of hearing her bark. I probably looked like a raving lunatic on this video, but I'm still just so shocked. Like, I just don't know how it just doesn't get better. Like, it doesn't get better than that in one day, in 6 hours. Whew. Alright, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna hydrate. I'm gonna let my dog out. I'm gonna talk to her about her attitude. Why are you giving me attitude? That's enough. Alright, I'm gonna go. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. I'm gaining traction, but it would be nice to gain more. and I will see y'all next. This is actually gonna get posted before about 4 or 5 other videos that I'm already in the process of making. Like, I just gotta finish editing them, but I'm so excited about this haul that I'm just gonna skip some of those and go backwards. So sorry if there may be some things out of order, but it's my channel. I can do what I want to. Y'all have a good night or good morning. Bye.